So you've been around GoGo for what, 20, 30 years at least?
Yeah, about 30 plus.
You seen the rise and the fall of GoGo.
Yeah.
Like when it was the main source for music for DC.
Yeah.
Then the rap came, and then it seemed as though like GoGo had died out. Like, what was that for you?
Yeah.
Like,
I actually was happy when the hip hop scene came up, because I knew the behind the scenes of how hard the hip hop artists that were working on their music, how hard they were working, and they wasn't getting no spotlight. Because we always had the spotlight. And like artists would come in, and if you wouldn't have a go-go band on the show, you wasn't getting no people.
Yeah.
And then like when it kind of died down, when it was like they were stopping the clubs from having us in the clubs.
Yeah.
Like you did, then when like TCB, the bounce beat came, it just like kind of revived go-go. It just kind of put another ingredients in the pot that made it better. That I think, you know what I mean? And a lot of people wasn't taking to it, but the youngest was like going crazy over it.
Yeah.
And I always respected it because Polo, he was a fan of the music.
Yeah.
And then he created that situation that went crazy. You know what I mean? You got to give him, you know what I mean, for him starting it. And he was really dedicated to it. You know what I mean? So at that point where it was kind of rough, and then you had Wale, and then Wale was sprinkling the go-go into it, and he stayed true to it.
Yeah.
That's another true representative that put the go-go music into the hip-hop scene and really ran with, because they were like, he was just going to do that one, and he kept going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he did the joint with us. He did the joint with TCB. He did a few the joint with UCB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he did practically almost an album with T.O.B. with Lil Chris.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was making me mad because people like, go dead. I'm like, bro, we still get the people.
Yeah.
Come to my joint. I don't know what everybody else doing. Look at back. We filling the house up.
I feel like it was a point in time where in DC, the beast was just so heavy.
Yeah, it was hard.
And then
we ain't into the gangs.
Yeah.
It's just streets.
Yeah.
Block. That's my block. Your block. Don't come around my block. You get popped. That type of stuff. We wasn't into the colors.
Yeah.
Color like L.A.
Right.
But now you got some cities like New York and Baltimore, people getting into that.
Yeah.
But we never, DC, we always had our own.
So you didn't agree that, I mean, for me, it's me really being from DC.
Yeah.
I got to play like devil's advocate with this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you go to the Go-Go's, and of course you hear your hood, you hear the hood that you beefing with now too, in the club now too. And so now it's like, all right, after this, it's cracking.
Exactly.
Do you feel like when people used to kind of put that blame on you guys that it was actually your fault of people beefing
and I'm going to keep it real. Like a lot of times to see a lot of the lead rappers, they really never was cautious of what was going on. See, with me being outside, I knew not to say 640 and Detroit right behind each other.
Right.
Because I know they ain't really like each other at some part.
Yeah.
You knew not to say Chopper City and
whatever
Lynch Mob behind each other because they had a problem.
Yeah.
So I say Lynch Mob, then you'll say some other block.
Right.
Then you'll say, they headed for that surgery quarters. You wouldn't say what block was beefing with what block. Sometimes you might slip up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be like, oh, God. And then they be like, and it rounds them up and get them going. You know what I mean? So some bands used to really like say it to, I don't want to tell her, you got that, you got that. And then they'd be like, and then it'd be gone.
And then it'd be over.
100 guns outside, he's blazing at each other.
Before we even get outside.
Before
in the club.
Get outside.
See, because I grew up in a DC style of Pearl. I grew up in that way. And I feel like
all that,
I feel like that's when I really realized.
That's when it was crazy.
This shit is insane. Because we all know what's going on. We all coming to this go-go. We all know we done put our gun somewhere outside the club somewhere.
In the bushes.
In the bushes. But you only knew where you put your shit at, and then now you going to go. And, Big G just said they in here. Okay.
Yeah, but then you might got somebody that looked and watched where you put your joint and they stole it.
Yeah.
Then you come out, you naked. Then they run it down on you. It was a lot going on, bro.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
But I feel like now, going through that, navigating through that now is a lot more positive. Like even with the U Street when they tried to do the don't mute DC, I think that's what it was.
The Moechella and all that.
Yeah, the Moechella. That's what it was, Moechella.
Yeah, and the don't mute,
And when that came about, that's when you really saw that GoGo isn't really hyping these beefs. We really just want to just put music out there.
And then I would toot my own horn. I was the only one really for nonviolence. Like, they'll call me a preacher at some point.
Yeah.
Gee, you preaching too much. You tell them, like, bro, I don't want nobody to get smoked, bro.
Yeah.
Like, at some point we gotta do it. But I've been doing it for so long, really telling them nonviolence. And then when we played at the Moechella, the Don't Mute DC, it was thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there, and nothing happened.
Nothing.
I seen people that was really beefing with each other, bro. Like, right beside me.
Yeah.
He right there. He got a little kid. He got his aunt. Nobody did nothing.
Yeah.
And I let him know that. I say, bro, we gonna be in peace today.
Yeah.
We not going through none of that. And that's the power of our music, that we can really do that out there. I don't know if everybody could go out there and do that. Because at one point, to speak on it, there was somebody that got killed on one of them events out there. Remember, the little kid got shot and got killed. And I looked at it like, bro, if you not out there on the break about the start and let them know, hey, we going to have a peaceful evening, and you just not doing that, you just got the adrenaline pump like they pumping, and you just like come out with something crazy, they going to go off. You got to tame them. You got to teach them first. You got to put put your socks on while you wet. You know what I mean? You got to know.
Sure.
Then you got to dry off, so you got to already have them cool down. So it's a different method, man. But that's how I went about it.